Hello everybody. This is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I'm going to make an arrangement out of all foliage that I foraged for. I went out in the yard and I just cut foliage, and I thought that we would make an arrangement out of greenery out of your yard. Now I want you to remember that it doesn't matter what type of greenery you have. Just mix and match, and that's exactly what I've done here. We're just mixing and matching with the foliages I have. Now what you're going to want to do when you go out and cut foliage, I want you to bring it in and test it. Some foliage just is not going to work. Actually, I cut some privet, and the privet's not going to hold up. See how it's wimpy? It doesn't look good. And so I don't believe that this privet's going to hold. So I'm just going to throw it away. But you're going to cut the foliage, check and see if it's going to hold. If it holds, make arrangements with it. Today, the foliages that I cut are Pittosporum. This is a solid green Pittosporum. It grows in a shrub. I also have, I have Nandina. Now Nandina is one of our favorites here at the shop. It's kind of a lacy foliage, but the wonderful thing about Nandina is that it, in the winter time, as it gets cooler outside, the Nandina will start to change colors. So it'll go into reds and oranges. It even paints beautifully. So we have even taken like a burgundy paint and added a little bit of a burgundy to it. It's beautiful. It does often have berries. Now we have lots of birds, so the birds often eat the berries off of the Nandina bushes, but it does have pretty berries too. I cut some privet, but again, my privet's not, on the tips it's not holding. I may cut it and see if I can get it to hold. We'll play with it and see. I'm not positive that's going to work out well for us. And then I also cut some Elaeagnus. So Elaeagnus grows kind of in a vine, but it is also a shrub. It'll get really big if you let it. But we do we cut Elaeagnus when we're making arbors or working on outdoor greenery arrangements and different things. Now, I had these little birch branches here in our shop, but you can pick up branches out of the yard if you wanted to pick up branches. You can pick up pine cones. But I just thought, and I also pulled out of our cooler some green hydrangeas. But right now here in Mississippi, the limelight hydrangeas are blooming. They would be perfect in this arrangement. So that's the reason I decided to go ahead and pull these little green hydrangeas, because I thought this is something that you could certainly harvest out of your yard and use in an arrangement. Now I just found a pretty container that I just think is pretty. I am using fresh floral foam. If you do not have fresh floral foam, but you have a pretty container like this and you need a grid, you can always tape a grid, fill it with water, and just tape across the top of that container to give it more of a grid so it holds your greenery in place. You can also use chicken wire. Has an armature where you just take and kind of ball up chicken wire, stick it down in there and tape it into place. But there's lots of different ways to make a grid and hold your flowers into place. Here I did use a small piece of fresh floral foam that we had in our bucket in there, just because I have it on hand and it's very easy to use. I'm going to start out with my Pittosporum. Pitt, I love the way Pitt has almost little florets of greenery. So it'll have 2 or 3 or 4 down a stem. This one has 2, so I'm just taking and I popped that, and I am just going to stick it right down in my floral foam. Y'all forgive me, I've been sneezing and sneezing. I've got allergies and I don't know what I've gotten into. So forgive me if I'm sniffing. So I am just taking this Pitt and I am just cutting it into small pieces. And I'm just tucking it right there into that foam. But really with Pittosporum, a little goes a long way because you have these florets of foliage. Okay, So there's some pit. I'm going to set the other pittosporum to the side. If I need it, I'll use it. If I don't, we'll use it on something else. So here is a piece of Nandina. I'm just going to take my floral knife and cut it into smaller pieces and just tuck it in. So basically what we're doing is we are just making an arrangement with cut foliage. You can use really any type of cut foliage as long as it will hold up in water. You can certainly use it. So I'm just taking this Nandina and cutting it into small pieces, tucking it right into that foam. Many years ago when I was in college, I was a member of the SAIFD, which is the student chapter of the AIFD, and we went to competition and we competed in Charleston, South Carolina, and we had to make an arrangement that was a tribute to a soldier. I don't remember exactly who it was. They told us who he was, but we had to do a tribute to a soldier. Well, we had to pack our flowers and have them flown with us when we went. And our flowers didn't arrive. It was terrible. So the flowers, we had to, the closest thing that we could get to would be the grocery store to get flowers. Well, grocery store flowers were not going to do what I needed them to do. So I went out and I cut greenery. And my arrangement consisted entirely of cut greens from there on the campus. And I won the competition with an arrangement of just foliage, which was the craziest thing to me. It was so interesting that I did not have a flower in the arrangement at all. It was all greenery. And it was so fun. It was so fun and so exciting that because I kind of thought out of the box and made it work, it was very exciting. Okay, so I took that Nandina and I just added the Nandina to our arrangement. You can add as much or as little. But I love the different textures. I think texture is so important in an arrangement. Okay, next we're going to come in with our Elaeagnus. So the neat part about Elaeagnus is on the back side, it's kind of a silver leaf on the back side, and then on the front of that leaf, it's a pretty green leaf. If you look real close, there's almost little golden dots. But Elaeagnus holds up so well out of water, so we use it very often when we're doing arbors that don't have a good water source. Elaeagnus is always a wonderful foliage to choose, or if you're going to wrap post, like at a wedding venue, and you're going to wrap the rails, Elaeagnus is always the perfect foliage for that also. So I'm just kind of being creative with my foliage. The nice part about Elaeagnus is it puts off these little shoots, and they're always so pretty in an arrangement. Now you could cut magnolia. Magnolia is a fun one. I'm actually going to do a live video this afternoon. I'm going to do Christmas in July, and with Christmas in July, I am going to make a fresh wreath using magnolia foliage. Magnolia holds up beautifully. It even dries really pretty. So if you had a magnolia tree, make beautiful magnolia arrangements just out of the foliage. Alrighty. So you can see this is 3 different foliages. I don't believe the privet's going to hold up, so don't use the privet. If you have privet, it doesn't hold well, so just toss that. Holly holds beautifully. Any evergreens, they all hold pretty. right, next we are going to take, again, I would tell you, if you have beautiful limelight hydrangeas, certainly use your limelight hydrangeas out of your yard, or if you have any blooms whatsoever. Even if it's only a daylily, go ahead and cut that pretty daylily and put it in an arrangement for the day. It is completely okay to use one bloom. It will not, you can enjoy it inside. It's going to be gone anyway. So go ahead and cut that daylily and enjoy it. I just cut this stem short and I am just nestling it right down deep into my arrangement. So you're going to see this is a very minimalistic arrangement. I'm going to use 2 blooms of flowers and then foliage that I cut. Be sure that your reservoir is filled with water. Once your hydrangeas are gone, you can certainly enjoy this foliage arrangement for days and days and days. It's going to last so long. Now these are little birch branches. So I am just taking my snips and I am just adding just a few little branches. If you have pine cones that you've picked up, add pine cones. You can even cut some of the trees. You can cut any type of oak with those big, beautiful oak leaves. I know often we think of cutting foliage out of our yards in the winter time, when we are in the fall, when we have pretty fall color, but green leaves are just as pretty and fun to work with. So think outside the box. Go out there and make you a beautiful arrangement out of free foliage out of your yard. I'm taking these little branches, I cut them into tiny little pieces. I'm just nestling them right down in this arrangement. So this is fun, simple, and it's made with materials that you harvested from your yard, and it's as elegant and pretty as can be. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this is something you might decide to do with cutting foliage out of your yard. Go out and harvest. Have fun with it. Put it in a vase, just in your windowsill, just to enjoy just something fresh and green. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. If you have any questions about how we do things here at our shop, please don't hesitate to ask. We're so happy to answer those questions. Do me a great big favor, subscribe to our channel. We'll see you real soon.